Hey, what is up? It is Dirt Sheet Radio right here. We're going to be covering AEW Dynamite. Now, guess what? It's been fight forever. We got some absolute fire between Swerve and the Hangman. There's a world title shot on the line, and we're going to be discussing that, the CMLL invasion, a whole lot more. But first, before we get there, I'm joined by some of my boys. Let's bring them out.
Hey guys, how's it going? As always, I'm sitting in here with Nick and John talking about our favorite three letters, AEW, and of course, like you said, Hangman and Swerve are in the main event. Let's get into it.
My favorite letters are F, U, C, and K. Please don't speak for me, sir. It's John Escudero here. What up, everybody?
Dead. Absolutely dead.
Let's fucking talk about Dynamite, man. Let's talk about that ending. Main event: Swerve Strickland takes on Hangman. Page's dealer's choice chosen Rob Van Dam. They dropped a bunch of heavy weed hints, and I just love that it's Hangman's excuse to talk about weed on the air. Hangman Page would take any excuse to talk about weed on the air at any moment. So I'm glad they let him get in like 6 different marijuana references on the same episode. RVD and Swerve had a great hardcore match here, though. What do you guys think? Hook with the running in a D12 shirt was the highlight of the night for me, actually.
Dirty Dozen.
But I really enjoyed this main event. I thought RVD out there at 53 years old wrestling like he's 26 is insane to me. I'll never get over that, and I hope that they keep using him in little spots like this. I know people want him to get signed, and I do want him to get signed and be paid all the time, I guess, but I don't like. I'd like to see him in little spots like this because he shines. He just comes in, he gets his pop, he does what he has to do, he puts over the young guy, he gets the fuck out of there. We don't see him for 6 weeks. I'm like absolutely okay with seeing RVD in this way, and I really enjoy this. We had the post show angle where Swerve Strickland gets the win, and we had the post show angle where Hangman comes out and challenges. Well, I mean, he doesn't really challenge Swerve, but he basically tells him I don't know, I want to be world champion. I don't know what you're doing here, but I want to be world champion here my fucking way.
No, I want to be the world champion. No, I want to be the world champion.
I thought it was interesting. I know some people think that they're not going to do the triple threat, but I felt like last week when they announced that they're going to be doing dealer's choice against each other, I thought, okay, well, they're setting up the Hangman and Swerve singles match. So I don't know if they're going to do the old draw next week or both guys get screwed over by Samoa Joe or something, but I am very excited to see AEW's they're basically one of the best feuds from last year continue here at this point. What did you guys think of the main event tonight?
I mean, like I said, fight forever. This feels like those eternal rivals. And even though they say this is going to be the last time, there's no way. This rivalry is, again, just pure fire. I love them both on the mic against each other. I love them in the ring against each other. And I thought it was cool, too, the fact that we got to see more of Deathmatch Swerve.
Oh, yeah. I love seeing Swerve bring his old CZW side on television. It's great stuff, especially it's like a good TV hardcore match. Like, they didn't kill each other. It wasn't Hangman versus Swerve level of insane, but it was definitely fun.
If you're
You
doing
know?
a hardcore match, that's the way to do it is, if you're on television, keep it more subtle like that with those fun, like chair and table spots. But then when it's pay-per-view time, death.
Yeah. So I'm really excited to see them continue this. I know some people think like it might be too soon. I thought it made sense, especially since the last time they wrestled at Full Gear in November, they didn't like settle it entirely. As Hangman got screwed over, it kind of like the feud wasn't meant to linger for the next year. You know what I mean? That was something that needed to be dealt with. Laurel says time limit draw next week, 3-way for the title. I think that is the way. I think a lot of us are thinking that way, and sometimes I wonder if this is a situation where they should do something else specifically because we're thinking that way, or if that's like the right move. Would you guys prefer somebody have the singles match, Hangman or Swerve, or would you prefer this triple threat?
I'd say where the money is better for it. If it's better with the 3-way, it's either the triple threat. If it's better with the single,
Yeah, but I want to know what the hell you think.
I'd rather see a triple threat. I'd rather see a triple threat personally.
Yeah, okay, that's for you. What about you, Nick?
I want to see the triple threat. I just don't know because most of the time it's a disaster whenever a main event match ends in a time limit draw. But then again, this might not be the main event because we got Sting going for the tag titles.
Yeah,
I think Sting is going to be the main event because it's been built around him and it's sold out based upon him being retired at the show.
Anytime they have done a time limit draw, it's always opened the show. So I could see that. If that's the case, then yeah.
I think for me personally, I prefer the triple threat match because I don't want to see Swerve or Hangman be the odd man out. Like they've been stuck in this particular story together with Samoa Joe all these weeks. And I feel like if all of a sudden only one gets chosen to be in the match, the other one doesn't have time to get into a whole new program to heat up and be on the pay-per-view. You know what I'm saying? And I want to see both these guys on television. So interesting in excuse me, while we're doing the show, Tony Khan just released the AEW rankings as of
I saw that.
He released it like 30 seconds ago. You on it, boy? I'm on it. I'm trying to be on it.
I released that. I don't know any of this. I'm focused on the show, fellas.
Well, I mean, we are focused on the show as we talk about this.
We have a show.
As we talk about AEW Dynamite in the main event, which I mean, we pretty much talked all we can say about the main event.
One of the fun things too I want to say also is usually Jeff Hardy's been getting the reaction of the night, but this time around it was Rob Van Dam.
Absolutely. It was one of those things. People knew he was going to be there, but it was like, I cannot wait to see Rob Van Dam. He's fucking Rob Van Dam.
Oh, and Samoa Joe was living for RVD in the match too. I loved it.
Samoa Joe is just excellent on commentary. Like I know like that was his job for a while, so he should be good at it, but it should be mentioned. But before we swing back to the beginning of the show, let's take a look at the AEW rankings as of January 31st.
Ranked forever.
Boom! Let's take a look at that. Let me get rid of the little ticker down there for a second so we can take a good look. Swerve's house. Absolutely. Look at Swerve up there. Number 1 ranked. So if Hangman wants to beat Swerve, he would take his ranking, and that's why he'd be in the world title match. So this makes good sense. Adam Copeland at number 3 is a very interesting development. I wonder if he keeps climbing the rankings or if someone's going to knock him off of there. I do see that they kept it as 1 ranking for all the men's titles. I think that makes things interesting. I don't know if it's easier to understand or anything, but it does make things interesting in the men's division.
Quick note, I just noticed something. So I shared that picture you have right now that's on here, and I went back to my profile on Facebook, and it's gone.
Okay, well, but I'm looking at, but we have it. We have it here.
Did they make a boo-boo?
Well, I don't think so. I think
maybe
wondering. Tony forgot to put something in the caption or whatever, but just looking at what we have here, this is interesting. Pretty cool. We'll see how things develop as time goes on.
I also noticed too on the trios side, Briscoe and the Hardys, they're really high up there. We haven't really seen them team up much.
Oh, so I feel like they had 1 or 2 matches. That doesn't even make sense. But
you get extra points when you're the ratings draws of Rampage.
Understood. So I guess whipping it back up to the beginning of the show.
Hey, now that's the way we connect this right here. Is on Rampage they announced we're going to have some stuff with the CMLL invasion. So let's get into that.
That's right. Let's get into the beginning of the show. Jon Moxley took on Jeff Hardy in what almost feels like Jeff Hardy's like the redemption tour. Like he's gonna have to prove that he can be worth a television spot, and I feel like he has. The past couple of weeks, he's been killing it.
He's worth the spot, that's for sure. The amount of reactions he gets.
And as Nick mentioned, the CMLL wrestlers were in the front row.
Cero,
Volador,
Mystico,
and Dorada, Mascara Dorada. I thought they were framed really weird too. Like, why couldn't you just get them all 4 front seats for a second? Like, what the fuck were you guys doing?
And I thought Dorada was already signed.
He was, right?
Yeah. So
the match goes on. They do the sick ass pan in the ear spot. I thought it was a good match. It was a great match. It did what it needed to do. Moxley falls into the laps of the CMLL wrestlers and disrespects them. So Jon Moxley is caused an international incident.
Remember too, here's the other point in here. On Saturday, they also announced Hechicero's taking on Danielson.
Right. So that was when they announced it, it felt like it was just going to be a showcase of 2 of the best technical wrestlers in the world. But now it's taken on this whole new level. Like it's this whole new different situation.
LL and BCC.
But I thought it was really interesting that Jon Moxley basically caused an incident between America and Mexico by not simply respecting the wrestlers in the ring.
So I'm safe.
He put his hands on him too.
He beat, and they shoved him. They threw him out of there. Like, get the fuck out of here. What are you fucking doing? And so Moxley wins the match and then poses on the turnbuckle towards the CMLL wrestlers, like disrespecting them again. So they get in the ring and they whip the shit out of him. They beat the shit out of him. They whip his ass.
Moxley got destroyed.
What else do you expect him to do? Like, he started. They didn't come here to invade. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
They did.
Gets taken down, and then like it gets to the point where like who was it? Like Christopher Daniels, Matt Sydal, Cool Hand Ange, and Daddy Magic all had to run out with weapons to get them to run off.
I will say I did not like that. I thought that it was bad to send jobbers out to be the ones to chase out the CMLL guys instead of being like AEW dudes, like AEW wrestlers are out here.
Honestly, because they didn't do much with them later in the show. They should have just had like Bang Bang Scissor Gang or something run out and be the ones to stop
Absolutely.
them. Since they're already used to dealing with invaders with Undisputed Kingdom.
But I did not expect the CMLL AEW relationship to turn into an invasion angle because Lucha Libre does invasion angles a lot. So this is actually really cool. This is really cool to do with CMLL. I know some people are like, oh, it's just another, invasion. They're just copying off of whatever the fuck. But I thought this was, because it's specifically they're working with a Lucha company, I thought this was really appropriate that it ends up being this kind of angle.
I will say, go on.
No, I was going to say that also ties into rumors of Forbidden Door 3 having a quote unquote twist this year. A lot of people maybe want CMLL, and I feel like New Japan would be better than instead of New Japan because I don't like what that says about the partnership. But but there's this idea that it would be really cool for AEW to hold Forbidden Door 3 in Arena Mexico. Like that would be
pretty sweet, actually.
That would be sick. And it's not like, sometimes you when any other company is trying to set up for, like when New Japan was finally setting up to go to America, they strapped AJ Styles because they needed an American champion because we need to set up something that the Americans are going to like, right? I feel like the difference in this situation is like AEW has highlighted luchas for their entire existence, right? Yeah. So it's like, it doesn't feel like unnatural, like, oh, let's get some luchas on TV. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to head into this Forbidden Door. We're going to set up some lucha shit. It feels like just another AEW Lucha Libre thing.
Plus, AEW's luchadors have been across the card in all the different spots from the low to the top.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm really excited to see how this is turning out because I never expected it to be a full-on invasion angle. I thought at most when Moxley fell into their laps, it would end up being like a Blackpool Combat Club versus CMLL self-contained thing. But once they hopped the railing and they jumped the top guy, it all of a sudden became AEW versus CMLL instead. And I was like, holy shit, like this is a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. I am enjoying this.
Lines have been drawn. One thing I do appreciate about the jobbers that were sent out is at least that group of 4 is going to fight the CMLL for Rampage Friday.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, they announced that like the main event.
They also announced BCC versus CMLL next week. Like they're getting that one right out the way. So I'm really excited for like this is cool. Actually, the one thing I wanted to say about the CMLL thing is like I don't know much about CMLL.
That makes two of us.
The cool thing about this is like usually when AEW does a partnership, they do like New Japan and they do like a company I already know a lot about, and I'm really excited to see people come in. I'm really excited to see Okada, and I'm really excited to see Ibushi and blah 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 blah. I always wonder to myself, like, how does this look on the other side to the person who doesn't know? Like, how are they being presented? I always because I can't get that perspective. I can only imagine. So this is a different perspective for me. I am the guy who doesn't know now. They're gonna have to present these people to me now. Like I'm gonna have to paint a picture based on what AEW is telling me about these wrestlers. Now, obviously, being the kind of fan that I am, I'm probably gonna go online and do my own fucking research and find these guys and see who I like and who I don't like and maybe get myself excited for Forbidden Door. But I thought this was really cool that they're introducing me now to a company that I am not familiar with. Like this is the cool thing about partnering up with all these companies the way they have been doing since they started.
Yeah, and one of the things I really appreciate too is the fact that for the CMLL4 that they got currently, you know, like Dorada, we've seen him a ton on AEW TV and in Ring of Honor. And then on top of that, you know, Mystico, when they brought him in against Rocky Romero, that was big time for them. Like there was a lot of people that came to that Rampage taping just for Mystico.
I do wonder though what's going on with the AAA partnership. Like, is that still a thing? Have we seen any indication? Because Commander is not signed with AEW. Is he signed with AEW? Is he AAA? No, he's not. He's AEW. He's signed.
Yeah, I think he's signed with AEW, but they did feature him prominently. They mentioned too that he was AAA Cruiserweight champion.
Have we seen Vikingo at all? Lately?
Yeah, wasn't he on that freshly squeezed 4-way thing or whatever it's called?
Yeah.
Like last week, right?
It was just on last week. Okay. It was on the Jericho cruise.
Okay, so that's really cool. I was a little worried because you know, like the way they've been. You know, CMLL and AAA, they're like they're like the mafia, and like they don't want to cry. I don't mean that they're actually the mafia, just because anybody. I love disclaimer. I mean, like the way they act towards each other. Like they it's like on site. So it's cool to see that as long as the AAA wrestlers don't commingle with the CMLL wrestlers, that AEW is free to do partnering with both. That's fucking incredible, actually, because that's something new in this wrestling landscape. That they're even that close to each other. Like, okay, we'll stand in the same room, but I still can't stand to smell it, motherfucker. I love. So really interesting stuff. Can't wait to see what the big announcement is next week. Actually, that was announced. What do you guys think about Tony Khan's big announcement? First of all, what do you guys think about Tony Khan's big announcements? How you guys like? Where are you on that? Are you one of those people that's like, oh my god, another announcement?
Well, last time it was a bounty castle. This time it's a salad. We found out.
Get ready for the pillow fort.
Woo!
I mean, listen, like even though those announcements have become a meme, and I wish to see more of those because I need more meme fodder. At the same time, when have they ever been disappointing?
That's been my thing. That's always been my thing. Like, it's usually he's said like, you know, I've got a huge announcement, and it's like I'm part of Ring of Honor. I'm partnering with New Japan.
I rolled it.
I've signed Will Ospreay. You know, like I fucking like, you know what the fuck I mean? Like it's a joke, it's a meme, but I haven't. It's a meme because of the existence of other companies that have done it first. People are like, "Oh my god, Tony Khan's got another big announcement." I'm like, "No, literally, he's got another big announcement." Like they keep on being big announcements.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
The one, if you can really call it bad, was when he's like, "I have a big announcement. Then I'll have a big announcement next week." It's like, oh. But other than that, they've been like you said, they've been huge. They've been amazing. They've been awesome. You know, Bouncy Castle, Big Salad. What's next? Mercedes Moné.
Well, there's a couple things it could be.
There's like several things.
Like that's the cool thing about this one. Like sometimes it'll be like I got a big announcement. It's like what the possible fuck? Like what is he even talking about? This one, there's a whole lot of shit floating around in the air. There's Kazuchika Okada, the free agency. There's Mercedes Moné, her free agency. There's the development of AEW working with CMLL and possibly Forbidden Door being at Arena Mexico. Like all this shit, any of these things would be a huge announcement. So I'm really excited to see what it is that he's going to announce next week.
I hope it's the Okada one. I just want to hear that one.
I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear Okada announced. I want to hear the coin. I want to hear the coin drop.
And then
yeah, and then I want to hear nothing else but the sound of my own voice because let's fucking go.
Either someone debuted on the show or he's fighting somebody. Oh, someone.
I mean, there's the thing about this. To talk about the Kazuchika Okada of it all. There's a part of me that wishes that he was in a situation where he could have stood in New Japan because I would have preferred that as a fan because it just is more healthy for the wrestling environment. But gotta accept shit the way it is. This is his life. That's the choice that he made, and now you got to decide what you would prefer with the situation, with the cards that you've been handed. So, like, I would prefer to see him in AEW because I would prefer to see him continue to have big matches and be the wrestling god that he has been. I don't have any interest in seeing him take on the challenge of being a superstar. You know what I mean? That's not my personal preference. That doesn't mean that it's wrong or that I think it's the objectively bad thing. It's just that I don't want to see that shit. I don't have zero interest in seeing him in that environment.
When it comes to this whole situation with Okada, my favorite is just reading some of the comments lately because it's like there's like the handful of people that were mentioning the whole merch drop or the merch pull, and they immediately went like, "Oh my god, Okada's WWE bound." But it's like, where do you get this from? Like, what if it's a t-shirt?
It's a no. Don't. It's not. It's not something that can easily be dismissed like that because there's a historical factor. It's just that people were missing the context. They were missing the context that New Japan also has asked PWTs to pull merchandise too. So immediately, if you're missing that context, you would think back to the pattern that you know, and the pattern that you know is that WWE is usually who asks PWTs to take it out, and you think to yourself, "Well, hey, AEW works with PWTs, isn't that weird?" So if you're missing the context that New Japan also does that, then of course you would jump right to that conclusion. So I never want to make nobody feel dumb.
Big corporate entity, New Japan,
right?
Yeah, isn't it
Hiroshi, baby?
Now? Isn't Hiroshi in charge now of it?
Yeah, he's the president, but he's in charge of like the wrestling. He's not like a corporate suit. He doesn't have like the money. You know what I mean? So moving on in the show, Hangman Page took on Toa Liona, and
third saying mustache.
I loved that. I saw that. It was just like, that's great.
I thought Toa. There it is.
Mustache.
I thought Toa impressed me here. He did he did a good job. He did a really good job. And
oh my gosh, that moment where Toa does the moonsault off the apron and just plants into the ground all the way. Did you hear that?
Yo, that was disgusting. I would see that's the kind of thing that impresses me because he was willing to take that fucking bump. Yeah. That's the kind of bump that takes the air out of your fucking chest if you fuck it up.
For such a big guy to do that too.
315, isn't he?
He's got gravity working against him. I don't know if he'll ever do that again. I don't know if he'll ever do it again, but the fact that he was willing to do it this time is enough for me to be like, all right, respect, big man. Good stuff.
That one spot he did with Hangman where he chucked him over the top rope and like Hangman went flying to the front. That was a pretty brutal spot.
Hangman, not to pull a Vinceism here, but honestly, I'd say Hangman definitely made Toa look strong.
I was gonna say Hangman gave Toa a lot, and he guided him very well in this match. Hey, and I'm loving the fucking Hangman Hangman TA look. Like I can't wait for him to cut
TA. Yes.
I can't wait for him to cut off the stubble and just have the mustache. But
oh my gosh, now that you mention that, why do I absolutely live for the idea of Hangman just being like a modern Magnum TA, getting like a United States title type of a run and just destroying jobbers left, right, front, center in like 5 seconds.
I remember it took me a while to become a big Hangman fan, but when I did, like, I think until about 2018 when he faced Okada in the G1, that's about when I became a Hangman fan. I was like, okay, this guy can go. But it took me a while to really identify him as a wrestler. Like I used to really struggle to figure out what kind of wrestler Hangman was, because he's kind of versatile. Like, he does that. He does like the brawler, meat slapping, stiff, fucking 1980s clothesline lariats and shit. But then he also goes up and he does like moonsaults and flipping fucking clotheslines and shit. So he used to do the shooting star press into a shoulder tackle. I used to hate that fucking move. But I realize now that he is basically that 1980s Hangman TA wrestler with a sprinkle of the ability to do more than just that.
Sprinkle.
And I love that shit. And it showed a lot. It was more apparent here in this match with Toa Liona than it has been in a long time that he is that guy.
He was that guy. Man, Hangman TA is the way I'm going to be looking at this now, because that just opened like this whole new perspective of me with the Hangman. And I also want to talk about that moment. We've been talking a lot about Hangman lifting up all 300 plus pounds of Toa, dropping him in the Deadeye, and not even a second later, Toa's back up like the monster he is, mouth all bloodied and everything. That was a good shot too.
They gave him a lot. They gave Toa a big opportunity. This is what I like about AEW, that they are like, all right, but sink or swim, motherfucker. This is your time.
Yeah.
If you fuck this up, you fuck it up. We take the L, but you'll never get that shot again. I thought Toa did a great job. So much so that I thought it wouldn't be a bad idea if they decided one day they wanted to separate him and develop him on his own as being that kind of wrestler for them.
Complete and utter monster. I mean, hey, there's a reason why we don't see the rest of the wingmen, just JD Drake with the workhorseman.
Yep. So I would like to see Khan get a shot now, just to see like where he stands next to Toa Liona, because Toa got the shot. Like, I don't want to be like, okay, well, Toa's better than Khan. Like, I don't know that yet. Like, let's see Khan get the singles match now, because I liked him when he was on Dark. So I'd like to see him get the 15-minute singles match with the top guy and show what the fuck he has. Boom. So what the fuck happened after that? That's right,
Nicholas and Matthew.
Yeah,
Nicholas.
Dress them properly, remember.
And Matthew Jackson.
No this more is again, Vince stash. It's goatee time.
Yeah. This is again the same thing that I said like last week. I still feel about this. It's like a tale of two worlds with this gimmick that they're doing. I don't like this part. They do the first segment where they get out the limo, and then they do like a random, hey, I'm going to fine you because I'm an asshole. Haha. And then later on, they do the segment that I actually want to see them do. They come out and they confront Darby, and they're like, you're not calling us. You're not answering our text. You're disrespecting the EVPs. Like, like that shit is fine. Because that
manipulating Renee to ask the question they wanted her to ask.
Right? That's got meat. That's what I like to see. It's got plot development. We're moving forward and we're doing something with their character and with fucking the story. This stuff right here where they get out of the limo and it's a waste of 3 minutes of TV for me. Like, and I love the Young Bucks. So that's coming from someone who loves the Young Bucks.
The EVPs.
So can we appreciate too that the $500 fine went to a dude that looked just like Chris Van Vliet?
He did.
Oh,
what was that about? Oh, I was like, oh, is that like a thing? Like, did they do that on purpose? Because that's funny as hell.
Like, was I reading too much into that? Because that's how it felt.
No, no, you're not.
I see it now too.
You're not at all.
Oh God.
So, after that, we had Wardlow defeating Commander.
They made sure to point out, especially that he was the AAA Cruiserweight Champion, Commander. You're
right. Okay. Did he never wear the belts? That's weird about the belts. Yeah. I think it's a legal thing. I'm starting to think that because we talked about the Ring of Honor title and the situation where they got in trouble for selling it, even though they had permission to have a belt, they didn't have permission to sell it. I think you have to have permission to do every single thing with a world championship design.
Yeah, especially the thing with AAA in particular, I remember too, was goes as far back with like WCW when Juventud appeared. He was not allowed to have, or maybe it was Conan. One of them wasn't allowed to have the AAA title at Fall Brawl, even though they kept talking about one of them being the champion.
See, I really think there's a legal thing there, and it makes sense. I guess you don't want to.
Well, it's speaking of legal. Well, because like if you say that Commander can't show the Cruiserweight Championship, how come El Hijo can show the Mega Championship?
Because they probably have permission to do that. Okay. That's the biggest thing. Like I feel like that's just it. You just have to have legal permission. Sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. But in this match,
too, if there's like a perception-based thing as well with that, is like maybe like, oh, you're gonna job Commander out to your big muscle man. Don't have him bring the title out, because Commander has brought the title on occasion. Whereas like Vikingo, when he was on recently, he still had a great showing. He wasn't the one that got pinned, and he still again had a great appearance. So maybe it's also like a combination legal and perception-based thing.
I can see
that also makes sense. So at the end of this match, Wardlow may have gotten hurt. I don't know if I have the right screenshot, but the knee on the left buckled in the powerbomb. It buckled bad, and I saw it on. I didn't get the screenshot right, but I saw it buckle, and I was like, "That is fucking bad." He finished the match, but he couldn't take part in like the stuff that happened after. Like he rolled out. He's visibly upset. Like he's banging on the stairs and he's like pissed. I think, I don't want to confirm because he was off camera, but I think he refused to be seen outside in front of everyone and walked to the back on his own power for the sake of his own image.
I gotta say too, everyone did a great job covering for that, because like commentary was just like, oh, he went out to protect Adam Cole, and Chuck Taylor, who's already hurt, stayed on the outside while the other three got in the ring when his friends came out.
So I mean, damn it, I really hope this isn't a bad injury for Wardlow, man, because what a tough fucking break. What the worst luck in the world for this guy. It's like anytime he gets going, it's something entirely out of his power. He got it robbed before the Canadian tour. Now he's gonna get robbed before they heat him back up by his own body. That's fucked up.
That's crazy.
And
we appreciate too. He had a cool new shtick, and it sucks because it might end because if he's hurt. But I really enjoyed it where he looked at the Contron and just started flexing.
Yeah, that was cool. That was actually really cool.
And it's like,
he's like using it like a mirror.
Yeah,
he was using it like a mirror. That was great stuff.
I'm like, all right, well, it's time to give that to the machine if we don't see Wardlow do that anymore.
Oh shit! Give it to Brian Cage.
Give it to Cage.
Brian Cage. Give it to Hobbs. Hobbs needs something more than what he's been doing. I hate that he doesn't have more significance on the TV show.
I love too that I even wrote down in the notes for like the Fletcher Jericho matches, just like Hobbs somehow, some way looks more and more jacked as time goes on.
He does continue to get bigger. He's growing.
He's cultivating mass.
Next week.
So the Jericho versus Kyle Fletcher. He won, but this was really fucking weird. Why would Kyle Fletcher or Chris Jericho try to set up the turnbuckle brainbuster? Jericho is way too fucking old to be taking the turnbuckle brainbuster at any point. And of course, it worked exactly the way you thought it would work. Jericho could not post. He couldn't post long enough to take that bum. So he almost fucking died in there.
He finished the match, though.
Other than that, it was a pretty good match. It went on a couple minutes too long. Chris Jericho almost died. Kyle Fletcher had this weird shit-colored gear on.
Thank you.
Yeah, because that's the thing is Fletch had some real cool gear for like some of his Ring of Honor stuff where it was like a blood red and he had like this like blood like paint all over it and that looked really cool. And I'm a little disappointed he didn't have that here.
I came out with some garbage. But yes, after that match,
actually, before we switch over to the topic.
No, 1 second. After that match finished, Takeshita came out and it was revealed that it would be Chris Jericho versus Takeshita next week on Dynamite. we gotta get Takeshita to win this match and just move the fuck on away from this. I actually have this idea that they should set him up against Will Ospreay at the pay-per-view. I would love to see Will Ospreay versus Takeshita at Revolution. I'd fucking die to see that match. Actually,
Tony, that would be cool.
The
implosion of the Don Callis family.
It needs to happen.
No, two questions. One that, or I don't know if it's a question or a statement, but how about that Judas effect he did on the top rope? That was pretty gnarly.
Oh,
that's
and that
cool,
was
but
right after the Tope Suicida that Fletch did that just got the Judas as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was gonna say the Tope Suicida Judas effect was cooler, but the thing I like about the top rope Judas effect is that that's actually an old move from Jericho's moveset. Like he used to do that very same move all the time in the WWF to WWE. It's the back elbow off the top rope. So now to see
he's going retro.
He even did it in WCW.
He did it in WCW, right? It's like one of his original moves. To see that it eventually became a finisher is really cool. And it's like this weird development thing that doesn't happen in wrestling. Like, hey, old buddy, I've been using you my whole life. Maybe it's time you start to finish matches.
I kind of love the idea though of like someone who like has been wrestling and using that very move for like decades, and it started off as nothing, but he's used it so much that he's like perfected it into a finish.
He mastered the move.
Exactly.
That's awesome. That. I do love that.
And then, well, I mean, this might be 2 questions or 3 questions. I don't know. I'll just get to the easy one. How come every week I've noticed they've been calling his move the Walls or the Lion Tamer? Like it's been going back and forth. Like is there like some kind of
the Walls of Jericho is a Boston Crab. It's a simple Boston Crab, 2 legs. Yeah. And the Lion Tamer, he puts the knee on the neck.
Okay.
So it's a different move, but it's
leverage.
Yeah,
I've been. Okay,
that's how that goes. So if anybody, if they call the Boston Crab a Lion Tamer, they're wrong. That's
what I'm trying to figure out. Yeah.
And if they call the Lion Tamer with the knee on the neck, the Walls with the knee on the neck, they're fucking wrong. That's the Lion Tamer.
To which they have been wrong on both of those. They call each one the other one.
Yeah, so I'm sure that they have been. That's why I'm like, just to clarify, in case you didn't know, this is the difference.
And I was watching, I'm like, I hear those moments, and I'm like, wait. That's why I keep thinking about it. I'm like, I ready to bring it up on the stream one time and actually ask you guys, and be like, you guys notice that too? And I see, yes, we've got some renoticing, and that's cool that people actually notice that one. So it's been bugging me for a little bit.
So, but anyway. Tony Schiavone has a sit down with Sting and Ricky Starks, Big Bill, and Darby Allin. I actually don't know if this is what happened next. But
Big Billy, I think this happened before.
This might happen before the match, right?
Billy Starks.
Big Billy Starks.
I'm not letting that go.
We're not.
Some people didn't like this segment. What did you guys think? I thought I had a screenshot of it.
The moment that stood out the most to me, that almost felt like it truly did impact Big Bill, was when Sting said that he doesn't think Big Bill is a killer like all the other giants he's faced in the past.
He said, hold the fuck up.
And Big Bill looks like he is actually kind of a little hurt by that.
Well, I like that. I like that everyone clearly stated what their issue is. Like everybody had an issue. Ricky Starks is like, you pinned me in your first fucking match here, and I never got over that. Darby is like, how dare you try to use Sting as a freaking stepping stone here? And Sting is like, y'all little motherfuckers are going to respect me. And Big Bill is just like, why is nobody paying attention to us? God damn it. We're fucking tag team champions. Nobody's looking at us.
What the hell?
This actually made me really excited for that match, whereas I kind of brushed it off as just a way to put the belts on Sting and Darby next week.
There's like actual reasoning behind everything, which I know was a huge complaint from a lot of AEW haters, but it's like, here's why this is happening. This is the reason.
But Nick, they didn't have a 30-minute segment where they actually harped on this and repeated it in 6 different ways.
They needed to have backstory. They need to have a character development.
2.
A couple skits. Just
3.
A couple skits.
Have that moment of volatility.
4.
Split it up. Slow it down. No, so I thought this really made me enjoy this really made me look forward to the next week's match a little more. And after that, the Bang Bang Scissor Gang made their way out.
Guns Bang Bang Scissor
Gang. This was just a segment to kind of make you love them even more. It's one of those things where they're like piling on the affection. They need you to care because they're going to rip them apart, and we need it to hurt you. I'm okay with that. So one of my friends in another group chat was like, "Oh man, this is pointless," right? And I thought, like, no, actually, I can see the point, and I'm okay with this because one, it didn't fall flat. Like, it didn't happen in front of a dead crowd that doesn't give a fuck. Like,
everyone lived for it.
Everyone lived for it. This cardboard. I'm going to get the cardboard. No, we fired him. We're going to get the other cardboard. Oh, you guys are fucking silly. I love y'all.
Card juice box.
You got to see Billy Gunn. I think Billy Gunn just really enjoys working with his sons. I mean, who wouldn't as a parent? But he really enjoys working with them, and you can see that in his face in the ring, and you can see it on Austin. You can see it on Colton. They were really happy to do this. It made everybody care, and I think that's going to make for a very heated, very personal 6-man tag match when it happens. It's going to make people hate the team that chooses to break up on the other team. And even if the match isn't technically as insane as some of the other trios matches that we've had on pay-per-view, it's going to be one of those that people care about so much that even just strike moves are going to get massive reactions. It's going to be really cool. I can't wait to see that, actually. I think they've done a great job.
Board. I still think it's a missed opportunity to call him the juice box. Even the crowd was chanting juice box. I'm just saying.
But he's not 3D. It's the problem.
Make him 3D.
There's a will, there's a way.
He's still cardboard. My biggest thing here is no one's addressing the Undisputed Kingdom. That's why they all united in the first place.
That's actually a big thing for me as well. We mentioned that last week. They teamed up because they needed to fight against the Undisputed Kingdom and they didn't have enough people. But they just kind of exist in two different worlds. There's no attempt to actually run this program against each other, and I don't know what happened.
It's the same thing with and I understand because Hangman's I don't care that they attacked me because this guy kind of broke into my house, so I'm still pissed about that. But at the same time, this group was specifically built, created, designed, formatted, everything that you could think of. They aligned to take on the Undisputed Kingdom, and they don't even talk about that.
I'd like to see that addressed before they break up. That needs to happen because that's the reason why they got together. Exactly. But
that's their purpose.
But the crowd is really behind this Bang Bang Scissor Gang, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna sell a lot of fucking t-shirts. And
it's fun to say.
I mean, it is fun to say. Bang Bang Scissor Gang, gang bang. Don't Google that.
Ooh.
Somebody.
After that, we had the Deonna Purrazzo defeating Taya Valkyrie. Boy. It was a decent match. It was nobody in the crowd seemed to care. Toni Storm.
They cared more about Johnny.
Toni Storm kills it, as always. She just fucking kills it. She had the commentary. You can see his caliber here. She had the commentary fucking dying. They're trying to do their jobs. They are desperately trying to do their jobs because she comes out here and makes it her mission to interrupt their fucking job with her jokes. And it's excellent. It's great.
That line she says about Tony Schiavone, she's like, "What the hell happened to you?"
She's crazy the whole too. Week. She keeps trying to get in the most vague sexual references. It's it's the funniest shit. I'm gonna punch your box knuckle deep, and I'm like, holy shit! Did you see that? I love it. I love it. But what I didn't love was. I really was excited to see Taya Valkyrie when she got to this company. And I just feel like she hasn't returned the dividend. She hasn't been worth the investment.
Return on investment there.
Yeah. I just that's my feeling on it. And I keep on being willing to accept and find something good. I keep on being open to her. When she comes out, I'm like, all right, here's another shot. Maybe I missed something. But no, but it doesn't come together the way I wanted to. And I thought this was another example of that.
Is it bad? That's kind of how I felt for both Taya and Deonna in this match.
I can feel that because you're not the only person to say that.
Because honestly, this whole match, I kept just thinking about Toni Storm on commentary and Johnny on the outside. Is he Johnny Valkyrie? Is he Johnny Dynamite? Is he Johnny TV? Is he Johnny Elite?
Isn't he Johnny Honor? That's the other one.
I want him to be like Johnny, whatever program he's on.
I just thought we could have had Deonna in there with somebody different, somebody better, somebody better. There's no other way to say that. Maybe we could have put her in there with Aminata. Where's Queen Aminata? Like, get her back on TV. Why don't we fuck that streak up? Is she overshadowing?
Yeah, it's entirely possible. I mean, that being said, I wanted to say, like, Taya looked like she was actively dying, though, in that submission at the end, Venus de Milo. And
that was great. I love that move.
I wonder if it's a thing, too, where, like, right now they're trying to get just all the double-jointed wrestlers up against her so they can make it look as brutal as possible.
Maybe. I mean, I can see that, but then it's suffering. It's hurting the fucking performance. It's not Deonna's out here in these matches that aren't really showcasing her as a killer, as a great wrestler, as somebody who's worth the top spot. She kind of goes out there. She has these nothing matches. Toni Storm overshadows her in commentary. They do a post-match thing that's really funny, and then we get back to the show.
Because that's the thing.
Shoe throwing.
That's true. If you notice too, like when I say that, like Red Velvet was an opponent and Jay was an opponent, and it's like the more like flexible type of women's wrestler. So I wonder if that's the reason here. But even then, when Taya was tapping, the camera missed it because they were on Toni Storm.
They cut away. That's right. That's how much Toni was overshadowing this. Even the production got caught up.
They went back to it and she was like tapping like near the end. After
they went back to it and she was already. The bell had rung. The bell rung while they were looking at Toni Storm.
Damn it, Toni.
She's too good.
Too good.
You can't blame. I mean, what can you do?
That's why she's the GOAT. The GOAT.
Exactly. What are you gonna ask her to do? Stop? No, absolutely not. So that's Dynamite so far tonight. I thought when I saw the card, I had a feeling that this B card meant that they were going to do a loading up next week, and they did not disappoint me on that note. They have Sting and Darby Allin versus Ricky Starks and Big Bill for the titles.
Really Starks.
You've got Hangman versus Swerve. You got Chris Jericho versus Takeshita. You got BCC versus CMLL. You got Tony Khan's big announcement.
For an announcement.
It's about to be. He said important. Was it important or was it big? Was
huge.
It huge? It was huge.
It was big.
Huge.
No, but did he say huge? Because like it sounds funny. It sounds funny or whatever. But there's been a pattern. There's been a format to this announcement.
Goated.
Huge, important, and big. Big is usually like an event announcement, right?
We're gonna sell new belts.
Like we got AEW Dynamite bank statement in Boston. Like
or fucking on that one.
Or fucking huge would be like I signed Kazuchika Okada. Everybody.
No, you want remember you said you want the thing to go off. And
no, but I mean like that's my example. So like I need to go back and find out if he said huge, he said important. What was the big
gargantuan?
He's never said that before.
Ginormous.
Announcement.
I'm gonna find out right now. Watch this shit.
Yokozuna size.
Look at the internet do his thing. It's a big announcement. It's an event announcement. It's gonna be that bank statement. It's gonna be that. It's gonna be that Boston show. That's a specific, suspicious Boston show with nothing else announced, and he's gonna be like, "And get your bank statements ready." Like some fucking
just completely out of left field.
It just doesn't fit. Shoehorned in Sasha Banks fucking reference, and then get your Mercedes Moné ready for this event.
Invest your Mercedes Monets into this.
Is Mercedes coming?
No, it's still gonna be WWE. I can tell you.
No, man, I don't believe it. So yeah, big announcement next week. Let's see what the fuck it is, and we'll be here to discuss it, of course. But being that it's the end of the night, jobber of the nighttime.
Oh man.
Oh.
Who'd you guys have as the jobber of the night tonight on AEW Dynamite?
Looking through the card, it's a little distressing. This is another show where it's kind of difficult to say, but why do I want to impulsively throw out there Wardlow's knee?
Yeah,
my impulse was that, but I already have a real one because my jobber of the night is Taya. Taya Valkyrie.
You know what?
Sorry.
Yeah, I'll say Taya.
She comes out and I keep giving her. This is my personal taste. I keep on giving her an open opportunity to impress me, and it does not happen over and over and over again. And I cannot say it's on the company because they keep giving her like 10-minute plus matches. That's what I'm looking for. If it's a 10-minute plus match and you couldn't even impress me in a 10-minute plus match,
Skip.
This is Skip. I'm sorry. You anti-hype for me now. Over and over and over and over and over again. It's happened with Taya.
At that point, it feels like they need to do like the Heyman strat with 911 is just feed her jobbers, have it be like 10 seconds, boom.
Something. But yeah, what about you, Caesar?
I mean, you guys are saying Taya, but I'm still sticking to Wardlow. Like that's just brutal, man. Like a knee injury, especially if you're starting to get like built up and stuff like that, and especially in a new faction. Like that's Please not be a knee injury. Please just be like a, oh no, he's gonna be gone for like a week or two or something like that. Nothing bad.
Minor sprain.
Yeah, oh no, he landed it awkwardly. He's gonna be gone for a few weeks. Big deal, done. Because it's just I don't know. I could go on a huge rant, but that just sounds seriously bad. A knee.
Thank you, Clint. I really appreciate that.
Clint.
Mike,
thank you for sitting. Thank you for sitting with us. Can't wait to see you next week, brother. So
now the moment.
It's time for the megastar of the night, friends.
Look at the air horn for the megastar of the night.
Funk Master Flex Night. Funk Master Flex Night. So who do you think looked the best tonight on AEW Dynamite?
For me, it was without a doubt. He got all the reactions. He got everything in he needed to, and he honestly looked great. I'm talking about Rob Van Dam.
Yeah, same. I actually have to agree.
What's the theme song?
That's like my megastar of the night.
Pantera Walk. Come on.
He just keeps coming in here. He's fucking 50 plus. He comes in here, wrestles better than half the people in the world right now, and
does the one match, disappears for 6 weeks, like you said.
It's awesome. It's perfect. It's exactly how I want to see everybody. I never want him to be on TV long enough to expose himself. Like, let's just accentuate the positives, hide the negatives.
Go home.
That's what they need to do for Taya.
Yeah. Well, there's not. How many of the fucking positives can you accentuate before the negatives disappear?
Power and Johnny.
That's true, though. She does have a lot of elements, like television star elements. The way she looks, her relationship with Johnny. She has charisma. She knows where the camera is. She knows how to work the camera. Well, the fucking matches keep stinking. So, like, the thing about that is that I feel like she would have been really good in WWE. She would have been a really good Raw superstar. Like, you know what I mean? But she had to end up here. So this is what we're going to be making do with. But
well, this isn't mega stars necessarily of the night. Frequent stars. We had Aminata announced for Friday and the Bounty Hunter announced for Saturday.
Who's she facing?
Oh, I don't remember. I just noted. I'm like, Queen Aminata's here.
No, I feel you. I'm there with you.
I know Bounty Hunter's taking on Eddie Kingston.
That I didn't know because I got excited for that. That's gonna be a creep match.
It's gonna be Willow versus Queen Aminata.
Oh, very good. I'm excited to see that.
Oh, that's gonna be
all right. So who's your megastar of the night, Caesar?
Honestly, because they actually gave him a time to shine instead of being part of the 3-way or 6-man he's always a part of. Toa Liona, honestly.
Yes.
Some of the spots he hit.
I like that. That's a good choice. He absolutely killed it.
Like your point you brought up earlier, like let's give Kong a Kana match now and see how he does.
Yeah, 100%.
Let's figure out who can do what and how they can do it, because I'm very intrigued now to see how that goes, because we've seen Brian Cage already a billion times over. Mm-hmm. And then now we've got Liona, and then let's get Khan in there. Ooh,
I'm telling you, I like him. I'm down for these guys. Let's go.
Oh yeah.
But that's us. I mean, where can you find you guys on Dershi Radio's schedule this week and anywhere else online?
You'll see me on the podcast tomorrow morning.
That's right. Dershi Radio, the flagship podcast where we cover all this week's news, including the scandal. We're talking the Royal Rumble. We're talking CM Punk. We're talking... there's a lot of other big news that happened in the week that I have on a notepad somewhere that we're going to put together and talk about on the flagship. We're going to record that right after this.
Vince could almost be the whole podcast.
Oh,
sometimes I wonder if we should just go live in the middle of the night. It's not like we ever edit anything. But like, just for the people who are awake at the same time as we are, right?
That would be kind of cool,
right? But if you're interested in that, hit us up.
Let us know.
But yeah, Caesar, where else can we find you?
Well, of course, everyone can see I'm here every Wednesday with these gentlemen and a few other ones that are here hopefully next week, as I've been told. And then, as always, with Tyler and Eduardo and John, of course, on the Monday Night Raw recap here on the Dirt Sheet Radio. And, of course, at NoobTube, all over the social media platforms. I'm not going to name all 3 billion of them now. There's so freaking many. It's getting a little out of hand for that one. Yeah, I'm not saying X because that just sounds dumb.
X,
Give it to you.
Give me some X.
No, that kind of X is good, but not,
well, not if you do it too much. Nothing is good if you do it too much. But if you do it like once or twice, like if you have like 3 parties in your life where you did eggs, then like that's the limit. Like you should stop.
What's only 3 parties in your whole life?
Not 3 weeks in a row. Like,
this is how you're gonna end up, kids. Don't do it.
On Neek's desk.
You should never do any drug more than 3 times.
You don't want to turn into Randy here.
Don't do drugs more than thrice. No. That's my Jerry Springer inspirational line of the night. So thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.
And we'll see y'all next week, baby.
Let's go.
Next week, baby.